Okay, everybody, we are back with yet another review of the haves and the have-nots. Thought this week's episode was pretty good, so let's get right into it. As always, we pick up right where we left off. So we left off last week with Catherine and Broderick. So now they're done. And Catherine just asked him, "What do you want? Do you want to be a manager? What do you want?" And he says, "Well, that would be nice, but what I want is you." And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. Not so. Catherine seems to be being level headed about this, but I'm not so sure. She says whatever happens is going to happen at my pace. But what made me think that she might not stay so smart about this was, okay, so she lost her earring. She said, "Oh, I lost my earring. I've got to find it. It's 10 carats." So Broderick finds it. He looks behind the nightstand and he pulls it out. And Catherine's like, "That is disgusting." And I was under the impression that it was supposed to be something more than dust back there. Um, because the way she said it was like, ew, that's really, it wasn't like it was just dust. So she says, "Well, I'm not wearing that earring until it's cleaned. I gotta clean it." And he's like, "Okay, so I'll clean it. I'll have them steamed." And she lets him do it. And I said, "Okay, so you're gonna let this guy, even though he's working at the hotel, you're gonna let him take your 10 carat earrings and have them steam clean." I'm like, okay, that's a little bit too much trust to have in somebody that you really don't know. You just went to bed with them. You don't know them that well. They're just an employee. And so he also told her, well, one of the things I've been having trouble with is the cleaning staff cleaning up properly. So when she leaves and gets in the hallway, Hannah calls her, and Hannah, she's supposed to be going to the bank to get that money transferred back. And Catherine asked her, "Okay, well, I need somebody to come down and give the maid some advice on how to clean. So can you come down and be like a supervisor for this?" And Hannah, she just says yes right on the spot. She's not like, "Oh, well, I can't." I guess she's finally past that, being like, not wanting to, take a job from Catherine anymore. So finally, Hannah has wised up. You need money, you need to take a job. So even if it is from a friend, take the job. And I think Hannah has finally learned that. So anyway, then we see Catherine have an encounter with another member of the Young family, and this time it's Candace. So Candace gets off the elevator, and Catherine wants to know, "What are you doing here?" And Candace like, "It's none of your business." Catherine hits back, "Okay, well, I own part of this hotel, so it is my business." Candace still doesn't care. She's just like, "Whatever." And Catherine goes in. She says, "Well, there's been some prostitution going on in this hotel, so that explains your presence." And Candace has something for that. She's like, "Okay, well, that explains, Catherine, that explains your presence." So she's throwing shade at Catherine. I guess she was trying to say maybe Catherine was down there looking for prostitutes. I think that's how I interpreted what Candace was saying. So Catherine, she's like, "I'm gonna throw you out of here," and Candace is all, "Well, if you do that, I'm gonna sue you for harassment and racism." And Catherine goes to laughing, and so they talk about, Candace, where they start talking about the blackmail, and and how she got the money out of Jim. And Candace goes, "Well, it was so easy. It was like taking candy from a Wyatt." Catherine didn't like that, but at the moment she did not have a good retort. So Candace goes on, and Catherine's like hitting the elevator button, like, "Come on, come on, I want to go." she's just like really furious because Candace brought up White, and you don't bring up somebody's child and without them getting very angry. Candace gets angry when Hannah brings up her son. So let's get to David and Jeffrey. But before Jeffrey got into David's room, he talked to Madison a little bit. And Madison said, "Well, I want to take you for coffee." And so then Jeffrey gets in there and talks to David, and he wants Jeffrey to go back to the house and find some contact information for Erica's family so they can find out what happened to her. And they start talking about Veronica and all she's done, and David just does not seem to want her to go to prison. I'm like, she needs to go. He's all like, oh, well, she can reach out of prison and do plenty of things. Maybe David wants to do something more permanent to handle Veronica. I don't know if that was his thinking, or if he is still being, trying to be protective of her somehow. And I'm like, David, don't even try to protect her anymore. She's tried to kill you twice. She's killed other people that you were involved with. She's terrorized Jeffrey. I'm like, come on now. Let it go. And so after that, they talk a little bit more about Jeffrey. And Jeffrey figures out that David had encouraged Madison to ask him out, and David's trying to push him towards somebody more sane. It's like, pick somebody nice, not somebody who's going to terrorize you and who is out of their mind. So David had the right idea there, but Justin's not going to stand for Jeffrey being with anybody else. So let's get to Hannah and Benny. So Hannah's ready to go. Benny has not come downstairs yet, and Derek's like, do you want me to wake him up? And Hannah's like, no, that's not a good idea. So Benny finally comes down, and he starts messing around, and Hannah's like, come on, get your shoes on, get them on. And he's like, that sure is a lot of money. And Hannah's like, no, we are giving that money on. Come on, get your shoes on. She's talking to him like he's 10. And granted, Benny does not always act as mature as he should be acting. He's an adult, but sometimes he acts like a teenager or something like that, or even younger than a teenager. Like I said, she talked to him like he was 10. So he's trying to keep this money, and he knows that they can't keep that money. It's not theirs, it's stolen. Candace stole it out of an account. So, and then she tells him about Candace stopping by, and she says, I think she sent that man over here to attack me. And Benny's like, he's trying to play it off like he doesn't know, but he knows for sure that that's what Candace did. So let's back at the hospital. Jeffrey and Madison are in the hospital cafeteria, and I'm like, okay, a date in a hospital cafeteria. Not bad, but not too creative for first date. But I guess it's serviceable. So Madison is just like, he's all like, you have a beautiful smile. And he's just like smitten with Jeffrey. It's like he always wanted to talk to Jeffrey and to get to know him. He asks if he wants to go to see a movie sometime, and then he tells Jeffrey about Justin, because Jeffrey's kind of, not, I guess he was kind of reluctant to say yes to any further dates with Madison, and Madison says, oh, is it because of your legal trouble, your charges? And Jeffrey's like, what? No, I don't have any legal trouble. And so Madison tells him what Justin said about him. And speak of the devil, here comes Justin. He walks in and he's being really aggressive as usual. And he just tells Madison, I've been calling you. I've been calling you. And Madison is not he's not really playing around with Justin. He's not being intimidated. He looks at him like, "Oh, was that your number? I don't answer unknown numbers." And this is somebody who really is not afraid of Justin. And that's who Justin needs to come up against. Somebody who is not afraid of him at all, not even remotely. And Madison seems to be that person. Okay, so let's see what's up next. Oh, yeah. So this guy that Veronica hired to blow up David, he's talking to her and he wants his money because she had not paid him yet. And I was surprised that she had not paid him yet. I would have expected this sort of person to have gotten his money rather quickly after the deed was done. And she's like, no, the FBI was here. We gotta wait. And she wants to do it in cash and all of that. So, but that's not where she's not even done asking him to do stuff. So she wants him to kill RK and make it look like Jeffrey did it. And I had said in a previous review, maybe a couple of them, I said RK's gonna end up dead messing with Veronica. And Candace tried to kind of warn him, do you know what you're doing, RK? This woman is dangerous. And I said, I knew that RK was in big, big trouble. And she wants this done because she wants to make Jeffrey do what she wants him to do. So after that, she's at her house, and this lady from a charity for girls aging out of foster care comes by, and Veronica she's putting up these guys that she wants to help the charity. But the question she asks is, "Oh, are these girls over 18?" And the woman says, "Yeah." Well, what if what about having one of them come stay with me? And you can see where Veronica's headed with this. She's trying to replay everything she did with Melissa, and she's insane. So, next we get to Wyatt, and Wyatt, he's restless. He wants to, of course you can tell he wants drugs. He's just restless, and he calls Jeffrey and he's complaining, "Oh, I'm locked up here and all of this." And so they have a conversation about what happened with Justin, and Wyatt's all like, "Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna do anything." And I said, "You were going to do something because you wanted the drugs that bad." But anyway, Jeffrey didn't believe that Wyatt was going to do it anyway, even though Wyatt actually was going to do it. Jeffrey didn't believe Justin's story, so, of course he wasn't going to see, kind of figure out that Wyatt was lying. So Wyatt's lie right there was effective in convincing Jeffrey. So, Jeffrey tells Wyatt about David, and he's like, "What happened?" Oh, and so Wyatt tries to use that as an excuse to try to get out of the house. He's like, I want to come see your dad." And so he goes downstairs there and tells his parents he wants to go see David, and Jim is not buying it, and he brings up the fact that the Malones are after him. So, uh, he's not letting Wyatt out of the house, but I'm going to guess that Wyatt is going to find a way out of that house. So, Hannah and Benny, they're at the bank. And, so Benny really was embarrassing Hannah here. He was not acting mature at all. It was bad. So Hannah, they start the process, and Hannah gives the I don't want to call her a teller because she was not really a teller. The banker. I don't know why I just went blank on that for a second. She gives her her ID, and she needs Benny's too because it's the joint account. Benny, I forgot my ID, and Hannah's like, give her your ID, and he is it. Benny was doing way too much in this episode, and he's talking about life is not a Bible verse, and Hannah's not having it. She's like, those Bible verses raised you. We're doing the right thing. We're giving that money back. And so here comes Candace. She waltzes in there, all dressed in black, just like, just looking like a villain. The black was just giving her a whole, big villain vibe. And she's like, I'll give you 50% of the money. I'm gonna get, I'll split it with you. And Hannah's like, that money won't even last. She had said that to Benny before. That money wouldn't last 5 years because it's ill-gotten gains, and nothing ill-gotten is gonna last. But Candace seems to be he seems to be being persuaded more by Candace. And of course he would be because it's about money, and Benny's like, give me money. And so so that's where that is. So we see next week in the preview that Benny is still giving some trouble about the money. I don't know where that's gonna go. So because it doesn't look like he's going to give his signature, at least not that easily. So, at the end of the episode, Candace comes back to her room, and there Charles is standing there. Charles is a stalker. I mean, she's told him repeatedly she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She does not want to be the first lady. She does not want to be saved, but he keeps bothering her. And in the preview, he's like, well, your phone has been scrambled until I leave, and he's being real creepy, and he needs to leave Candace alone because she can mess him up if she wants to. She can come out and say, well, I'm a prostitute, he's obsessed with me, he won't leave me alone, and all of that, and she could sell that story to a tabloid for somebody and really mess him up in the process because he's the president-elect. And he's just, harassing an escort. Was told him to leave her alone, and that's not a good headline. So, that's the review. Tell me what you thought of the episode. Leave a comment below, and as always, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.